I never wanted to accept myself. That was the problem, you know, because all I knew were drag queens. That's all I knew back in middle school in between 2005 and 2007. And that was kind of my thing. And then I got educated. Like one of my friends in high school, she was a senior when I was a freshman, and we actually had classes together because we had electives together. She was transgender, and I didn't know it at the time.
Hmm.
So she told me like after when we started hanging out more because, you know, uh, we started hanging out more after I graduated when I was in tech college. So, but for me, like just transgender is you're transitioning from cisgender to the gender you identify as, and you take the steps needed to start hormones if that's the way you want to go.
I was super excited for today's podcast, but I was also, well, you could say a little bit afraid. I was afraid of saying something wrong. I was afraid of not addressing this topic tonight with the right words and with enough respect. Because I think it's important that we talk about it with all of it, with all of our attention. Um, like every day we are reading, we are watching, we are listening to news around the world. And when it comes down to being a transgender person, we as cisgender people or everyone else doesn't know much about it, and we don't think about it. We are not questioning anything, right? So I looked up a few statistics, and I mean, right now, still about 1,500 transgender people get murdered each year because of hate crime. And I mean, this is stuff, where you have to ask yourself, why is it so difficult for some people to accept a decision some other person makes? It's not their decision. It's Alyssa's decision. It's a decision of of another person, and if they don't feel comfortable in their body, why do we have to judge them for that? And why do we have to do crimes and stuff like that? So this is why we are here tonight. I think it's important that we open up a conversation where we try to understand, how does she feel? Why did she make the decision to transition? Um, and yeah, I would say that's it. Let's just dig in. I hope you guys are excited as I am. Deuce, thank you so much for being here. Helmet, Ababy, man, guys, so good to see you here. Thank you all for joining. And one more thing, as always, if you guys have any question tonight for Alyssa, please don't be terrified. Just go for it. That's why we are here. We want to know more. We want to understand each other better. And yeah, I hope you are excited as I am. Scoot one, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining. The internet makes it very slow, very very slow. I hope. Oh, okay. Well, that's Austria, right? You're gonna move to Germany. um, all right, Alyssa, thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you. Thank you for this
Thank you
great
for having me
opportunity.
on.
It's an honor. It's really an honor. Um,
Yeah.
maybe, you know what? I told you about. Um, we have so much to talk about. I mean, I want to definitely get to hear your story, how everything started. But as I told you before, I had prepared something a little bit different, and
Mhm.
maybe we actually start with that other thing first because it gives us all the perspective of what is transgender. Maybe explain it in your words first. What is transgender? In what does it mean being transgender in your words? We
I
start
would
with
probably
that.
say that basically it's you you learn, you accept, you might be like an ally to start, but then you're like, hey, like there's something about me that's not right, and so all right, I'm gonna call the hospital, see the specialist, see who has the specialist for that. You go in, they do some blood work, you know. You come back after your results come in, everything checks out. You usually do some I don't I think comes off strong, but like a psychiatric evaluation, there's different degrees of it. There's, the screening, which I kind of call the jumping right to the second job interview sort of thing, where they got an idea of you, but they just need to confirm everything versus a psych eval. They just like they're starting from scratch. They need to find everything out about you, you know, and then if everything checks out, you start hormones. But for me, it's like all it is you're just transitioning from the gender you were assigned with at birth, which is cisgender, to the gender you identify as. Um, and for me, like I came in, did the blood work, came back. They're like, "All right, well, you live like an hour from here. We're gonna give you 2 months to do a screening." Because the thing that my psychiatrist, sorry, my hormone doctor did, it's called an endocrinologist. He's like, "All right, we're gonna have a quick discussion about it because I brought it up, so that benefited me. So I didn't have to do like a psych eval, So that was very good. But I only had to do. I'm so used to looking at the stream right now. um, and I just did a screening. I got the hormones, and in October I'll be 6 years on hormones. I've had a couple surgeries since then. But also, like, certain hospitals are very strict. They might make you do, if you did a screening or a psych eval, you might have to another one to, if you're a trans woman, get a vagina, or a trans man, get a penis. They might even make you do it to get boobs or a masculine. They might do that, but
Do
most
all
hospitals don't.
do all transgender people take hormones? Do all do their I would say
So
like
some
physically
some
transition?
so some don't take hormones, but they still identify as a woman. But most take hormones. So it's okay if you come out, but you don't start hormones. That's perfectly fine. And it's also okay to be a trans woman and a drag queen, even though RuPaul says differently. Um, I don't know if you know who RuPaul's Drag Race is, but
No.
it's big here. I
That's the thing.
I
That's the
didn't think
thing.
they
I
had
don't.
that in Germany. I didn't
I,
think they had that in Germany. But yeah, no, it's just like you come out, you call up a doctor, get the blood work, and the screening is the big thing because like or the psych eval. Like you might not have been like me and actually brought up about your gender identity problems. So it's a long, hard decision. Like I had to contemplate it like over the middle of the night for me because I this is before I actually worked overnight. And this is on like Friday into Saturday morning, Friday night into Saturday morning. And I just like contemplated it for like, oh God, 8 hours I contemplated it. So like, cause I don't know, I was in self-denial for so many years. Like my friends tried to talk some sense into me in high school when you were bullied for even just being anything LGBTQ plus, you know, and
when did you first
that
think? When did you first think about? Because all the stories I heard so far were about like it started with the age of 5, 6, 7, like very early. Like the stories I heard from
my
transgender people, like
parents,
when they thought like something is wrong with me. I don't feel like this body belongs to me. When did it start for you?
well, I mean, I didn't start thinking about it. I didn't know transgender by name until like I was an adult. And I would like when I was younger, I'd take a fleece blanket and tie it around my armpit and, like a dress. Like the big thing that trans people into, they like identify with mermaids. Like I was big into Ariel Little Mermaid as a kid. Like I had cross-dressing problems. I'd wear makeup, stuff like that. I'd wear makeup and stuff like that. Like, but I never wanted to accept myself. That was the problem, because all I knew were drag queens. That's all I knew back in middle school in between 2005 and 2007. And that was kind of my thing. And then I got educated. Like one of my friends in high school, she was a senior when I was a freshman, and we actually had classes together because we had electives together. She was transgender, and I didn't know it at the time.
Hmm.
So she told me like after when we started hanging out more because, you know, uh, we started hanging out more after I graduated when I was in tech college. So, but for me, like just transgender is you're transitioning from cisgender to the gender you identify as, and you take the steps needed to start hormones if that's the way you want to go. So,
One thing also I realized is that being transgender doesn't mean, like, for example, the transition from man to woman. It
mm,
doesn't mean that, and you're a good example for that. It doesn't mean that you automatically run around, like you said, like a drag queen and put a lot of makeup in your face. It really doesn't mean you do the transition of I want to be a woman or look like a woman. Everyone is doing it really like they want to do it for themselves and how they want to do it, right? Um,
yeah, and that's something that, we like the term we use is cisgender norms being forced on us. Like you don't have to be a girly girl to be a trans woman, but I mean, there's trans men who carry around purses and wear makeup and shave their legs and stuff like that. So it's a thing, and you know what? Just this whole thing of like you need to be like you need to like be act like a cis person for the gender you're transitioning as. So that's just another thing. But you don't have if you're a trans woman, you don't have to be a girly girl. If you're a trans man, you don't have to be a manly man.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
like a lot of trans men are bodybuilders, for example, because they get jacked on the
On steroids.
testosterone they take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On test. Oh yeah. Well, what
But
do you?
also
By
too,
the way, you just say like you just picked it up. I saw there's a big discussion going on in the internet about um, transgender women, so men
yeah,
who are transitioning to a woman and then going to being athletes. Like let's take boxing for example, and I saw there's a big discussion right now about like that this is not fair because they still have the biological body of a man and then fight against women. Um,
yeah.
like is there a discussion like
So what I will say when you start estrogen, number one, you really have to work to be skinny. Estrogen does not make you jacked or skinny like a trans man gets jacked on testosterone.
mhm.
Like you can get fat if you don't care for yourself. But when you take estrogen, you lose all your muscle. Like I was a hockey player. I was a strong hockey player. I projected to be in the NHL as like this tough, rugged power defenseman. But when I started hormones, I lost a lot of my muscle.
You can't retrain it.
So,
I mean you lose it but can't you
but you can
retrain
get
it?
it back. You can get
Mm-hmm.
it back. But like the hormones naturally make you lose all the muscle you gained.
Mm-hmm.
So when these, MMA fighters, these UFC fighters who are trans women or, WWE wrestlers who are trans women, they have to work their ass off to get their muscle back.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that people don't realize is the estrogen is not your best friend. So when you're a trans woman, at least, because trans men take testosterone and they take an estrogen blocker. Because that's what I have to do. I actually no, well, I'll say this: before I got a vagina, I had to take a testosterone blocker to take the estrogen, and then once because what they do during the surgery, I don't want to make anyone puke in their mouth. Um, it's something I won't describe because it'll make you gag. The surgery process, like your testosterone levels are so low that once you get a vagina as a trans woman, you just have to take estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like your testosterone levels are that of a cis woman. So,
You just got your
but like
surgery, right? You or no, you
I
got your
got facial.
Facial.
facial
Fa
facial feminization.
like 8 weeks ago or something, right? About
It was
six, eight
back in
weeks ago,
It
right?
was back in July, yeah, July.
And
I was gonna get out on my wedding anniversary, but I will tell you this much. Changing your legal name and gender marker on your marriage license here in the United States is a pain in the motherfucking ass.
do you
Like
think they want to
changing
make
your
it
name.
hard? Do you think they want to make it difficult?
Well, I mean, it depends what political party the president is. If it's a Republican, yeah, they make it difficult. A Democrat, they're making it easier. But the thing is, though, generally the county clerk at your county office who deals with your marriage license is generally a religious person. They're very religious. And we have a problem with the religious right here in the United States. Evangelicals are huge here. So generally, like, it can be a pain if, like, because, like, me, I had to complain to her supervisor for her to, after I did all my stuff, like, I had to change my passport, I had to change my driver's license, I had to change my birth certificate, my voter's registration, my social security number. Like, the
Everything.
the good thing is it's once you petition to the court to change your name and gender marker, everything else is easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Okay.
But like for trans women athletes, like I said, they really have to work to get that muscle back. So
Do you think it's unfair still? I mean, we know they can get the muscle back. Like, do you
I
like by
honestly don't, because I feel like because trans athletes should have a place. Like, if like the NWHL is a league here, the National Women's Hockey League. They have a system in place where if one of the female athletes comes out as a man, they can still play in the sport and not have a distinct advantage over the women athletes. It can be done. It can be done. Um, it can be done, just like we need to get past these stereotypes of, oh, there's an advantage. Because the thing is, so like the women that are like competing in these, like, UFC fights or MMA fights in the ring, in the octagon, they're already jacked too. They're already pretty jacked too themselves. So there's, because trans women have to get their, muscle back, they're basically on the same playing field. So
Jimmy here, he was also a pro athlete. He just said, like, I just thought about how I look like a silverback woman when Alyssa said she played hockey. When did Alyssa know that she wanted to be a woman?
it, it was March of 2015. So yeah, I just came out.
March of,
I
wait,
spent
this year? This year? No,
2015,
this year.
20
Oh,
2015.
2015. Oh, God. Man, my brain. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking in that second.
No. I said in October I'll be on
Yeah.
6 years of hormones.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. 2015. Damn. I need more tea.
So
Um,
yeah, it's been over 6 years since
six
I
years now.
came out.
How
So,
did your family react to that in France?
well, I was already like married, moved in with my now wife. Obviously, I was dating her because she's 5 years older than me. Um, I My wife is bisexual and she'll date trans people, so she didn't care as much because it was like, okay, cool.
She was
When are you
supporting
gonna
you the
start the
whole way,
process?
I guess.
She kind of knew too. She just was waiting for me to come out, she said. She just
Interesting.
kind of knew all, yeah, she knew all along. And like, she's like, all right, who are you gonna call in Boston? And at the time, I called Mass General, which is funny because now Mass General has hormones. But the only place in Boston on this side of the state that did it was BU Medical Center, where a lot of the BU medical students, um, BU medical students, do their internship at BU Medical Center. And two monitors is horrible for me right now. um, but um, what's it called? Um, but yeah, I just call. They're like, all right, this is the person you want to call at BU Medical Center.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing was I transitioned to Mass General when they started doing a trans center. And because I could take the T. One of the things I didn't like
Diese
about
Sitzung wird aufgenommen.
wait, recording?
The Zoom just switched. Forget it. Just
Oh,
ignore it. The Zoom just switched.
yeah, no. But I was like, what was that?
Sorry.
uh, uh, but now I'm at Mass General for my hormones. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that was a really good thing because now I can take the T, which is our subway system in
Okay.
Boston. So I didn't like with BU Medical Center, I had to drive there, and that area of Boston's not the best.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well, when you were like 22, is that right? 2015?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I turned 22 that January of that year.
And
So
you have how many kids do you have again? Two or three?
4.
Four. Oh my goodness. And the oldest one is 11,
Yes.
right? How did the kids take it?
Um, well, I taught my kids to be very accepting. Now, at the time, I only had 3 kids, and then I decided to have one more kid before I started hormones because the hormones will kill the ability
Yeah.
for your sperm to have kids.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So, but the good thing is there's actually a technology coming out in like 5 years because it's been in development for 5 years, where they can draw some blood and take a white blood cell and turn it into a sperm or an egg. So, like for example, 2 women could be the biological parent. That's a technology that's mainly for. So, lesbians don't have to have a sperm donor. That's what mainly that's for. But again, it also helped trans women who lost the ability to have kids and they can have kids in the future. So, um, but I'll get to that in a second. But my kids took it. I taught them to be very accepting. I they were very accepting of it because I taught them to be accepting kids, not to be judgmental or whatever. So, but my wife said, she's like, fine, I knew. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
was expecting you to come out. So at some point, whether it's in your 30s or whatever, because a lot of trans women who are now in their 40s, they came out in their 30s. Versus me, I
Right?
was lucky that I came out young.
I feel
So
like
I had my
you have kind of a softer story here to tell. Like other stories, like I mean, what is there? Where are the hardships? Like I feel like with so many people who are going through that transition. I heard like, for example, I heard the sentence once. I don't know where I heard it or what it, but it was like, um, just be aware once you make this decision to go out, you will lose your family and friends within the next 5 years. But for you, because you already choose, it seems like the perfect wife to do this step, and the friends around you to do this step, it's different for you, which I'm happy, which I'm really happy
well,
for you.
I mean, like for example, like my stepmom, she still dead names me. She misgenders. My stepsister does the same thing. My sister Colleen is my immediate older sister. She's still after all these years, like very off and on. She'll use my dead name, my dead gender from time to time, but then she'll use my correct gender, my chosen name
Mm-hmm.
from time to time. For her it slips, but I don't see my sister Colleen a lot. So, and right now I don't want to see my sister Colleen because she's being a bridezilla. Uh,
Does it hurt you?
but
Like, I mean, is it like
I mean, if it's repetitive,
and on
um,
purpose, so it is intentional, and then it hurts, of course.
yeah, like if it
Mm-hmm.
slips, it's fine. Like my sister Colleen, I just accept her for who she is. Um, but my sister Rachel, my oldest sibling, she's totally accepting. I mean, she has a wife for crying out loud, so she's married to a woman, and um,
That's a good
um,
question, Squid. We will get to that.
uh, yeah, I'll get to that now. How about that? How do you gain the strength to be so strong? You just gotta work out, honestly. when you lose the strength, you got to get it back. So the gym, personal trainer, stuff like that. It's like normally just gaining muscle. That's all it is. It's like if a cis
Squid,
won't.
did you mean mentally or physically? Because I totally understood mentally, and you answered like physically. Well, it probably was physically, and I completely mentally be strong. Yeah, mentally.
Okay, so mentally, yeah. You know, when I first transitioned, like my first year, it was difficult. Like people were dead naming and I correct them. And this is, 2016 and Trump was like taking over, the whole voter sphere in the South. And for me, like there was Trumpies here. I live in a liberal state. I didn't say socialist, I said liberal. Um uh but
Oh.
no, I live in a more liberal state. But uh And, like when I go to the doctor's office, like my doctor's in Cohasset. Cohasset has a lot of Trumpies, um, and stuff like that. So just I had to deal with that, dead naming misgender, you know, um, worried because one of the things that the hormones make you do, and this is why bathroom bills are such a thing, is because the hormones make you want to pee a lot. So the thing is, though, in the conservative states, they're trying to use
Finally, you know
ban.
how I feel.
But uh,
Sorry.
uh,
Go on.
it was just a phase. Oh, that's why I contemplated it for 8 hours the night I came out. Oh wait, was like a phase in terms of people just doing it or myself?
No, is it like I know what he means. He probably means like people try to convince you it's like just a phase and you don't really want to do the
Oh yeah,
transition,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I will say that some people said I would regret it. Um, like I would regret my transition. Um, that was mainly it, but just people were just being transphobic and stuff like that. So the rare people that would do that, but you know, um, just people didn't tell me it was a phase. People just told me like you're gonna regret it in 5 years. I'm like,
No.
I like that was the thing. Now the funny thing is, there's a funny story about all this. After I've transitioned for a while, and I've had surgeries and stuff like that. Um, my bullies in high school think I'm attractive.
For real?
For real,
After.
for real, for real. My bullies in high school thought I was attractive. It was so funny because I just look at them and I internally laugh. I internally laugh because I'm just like, dude, you call me so many horrible things in high school. Now, I was also the captain of the hockey team. I was the captain of the hockey team, so I could just beat anyone up I wanted to, but I couldn't because I'd be kicked out of school. But um,
How big are you?
so I'm 6'2", and right now I got fat after I stopped playing hockey. So I'm about how much is it in kg? I'll have to let me Google it because right now I'm about 246 pounds. Let me see how much it is in kg. So I'm 111.584 kilograms.
All right. Now I know what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. How is it like but it's also because of the hormones? Like the weight?
So you can get fat on hormones. That is a problem. It is a side effect of estrogen, but it's only if you don't take care of yourself. For me, like my cravings would be like get Taco Bell, get KFC, like get
Okay.
Wendy's, get McDonald's. It would make me crave takeout. And plus, my mental health medication, one of the side effects is I can easily be 300, 350
Okay.
pounds
So you need
compared. Let me.
to eat better, work out better. But that sounds
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
usual. I mean, that sounds more like a typical problem. Also, I
Yeah,
mean,
but I'm saying,
also you're working shifts, right? You work at night. That probably
yeah,
also
I sit at
doesn't
my
help.
desk. I sit at my desk. I sit at my desk. So, um,
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 I wanted to ask something about the hormones. Does it affect your mental state? Because or how is it connected? No, wait. Where do we start? Sorry, I need to rephrase it. What I heard a lot is, or what I read a lot is that depression comes along also a lot for transgender people. But
I
I don't know if
so
it's
my
connected
meds.
with the hormones or if it's connected with the situation that you for years feel you not belong in your body, so you don't feel happy with yourself.
It's
You know, like
it's half and half. But the good thing is my mental health medication takes care of my depression and anxiety. So like I have insane anxiety. I've had insane anxiety since I was like 12. Um, so you know, what of my problem? My anxiety is like I worry about the potential. So,
the
but
potential of what?
like potential what can happen.
Potential of what can happen for you. Okay.
So my meds take care of that stuff. So that's where I'm at with that. But I think it's 50-50. It's, just finally coming out doing all that. But I feel like because you get the mood swings from taking female hormones, you do get that. Um, so you get the mood swings, stuff like that. It is a little bit of both. So, but um, one of the things the hormones will do for you is it'll increase your sex drive when you take a new dose. So when you go up a dose, it increases your sex drive a little bit.
Well,
So
that's not too bad.
so
Um, I also read that damn it, and now I don't know the right words in English. Like I saw that doing this transition with the hormones and everything and the surgeries, there is a relatively high statistic. I think it was something like 41%, that it will decrease your life, basically. So you will die earlier. You have health issues. Is that true? Are you concerned about it?
it depends on the person. Depends on the person. Not always, but if like for example, like me, I have a somewhat unhealthy lifestyle. My eating habits, I don't get exercise besides walking to get coffee. Um, that's something that can happen, but it's not, it just depends on the person who takes hormones. So, what's the biggest challenge you found starting the
That's a good
transition?
question.
For me, like, there was no resources that I could Google that where to go. Like, who's the hormone doctor in Boston? But once I got started, it was okay. And like I said, I transitioned from BUMC to Mass General. So, and Mass General is, um, I think it's a lot better. I didn't like Dr. Safer, but he's moved on to a place in New York. So that was kind of my thing. But yeah, just looking where to start because like 2015, there wasn't the resources that were even available in 2017. So it was like looking where to start, looking where to go. How do you change your name and gender marker? Stuff like that. Um, just getting everything done basically,
You know
and
what?
where to go for that.
Yeah, right. Um, you know what? Let's do this little list of misbeliefs quick. Thank you. Um, Sorry, I have a little cold, so I'm the more I talk, I start coughing. So I need some
Mhm.
bonbons. What is the word in English?
Cough drop.
Whatever. I need something. I don't want to cough all the time. So, let's start with a list. I have 10 myths here about transgender
Hmm.
people, 10 common myths. And I thought this all helps us to, well, open up some questions, you know? Missy, that
Yeah.
you rather, yeah, man, it's raining, but I don't think that's a problem. I just got it from the kids, you know? That's all. And on top of it, you know, my surgery, and I think my immune system is just a little bit low right now. So, but anyways, let's go. Let's dig into that. So, first myth: transgender people are confused or tricking others. Alyssa, what's your point on that?
No, no, that's like I said before, you have to do some sort of like psychiatric evaluation, whether it's low level or the psych eval. That's not they're not tricking people. Like that doesn't happen. It's just doesn't happen. I know turfs and all these people, conservatives and religious people say it happens, but there's no evidence to support that. So that's just, borderline conspiracy theory.
Yeah, right. All right, let's go to another one. Sexual orientation is linked to gender identity. I think that's very interesting.
No. I mean, if you are a trans lesbian, for example, like sure, you still want to be date women, that's fine. Um, but no, like, gender, sexuality, hobbies and interests, like that's all separate. They're all different and not connected. So, yeah.
That's also the thing. Like people assume when you're transgender, you're automatically gay or whatever, you know, and it doesn't mean you're gay. It just means you feel you're not in the right body, but you can also be straight.
I when I was 14, way back in 2007, I came out as pansexual. So that
All
was
right.
part of my bullying was people found out I was pansexual. So before I started high school.
Did you get, by the way, you stopped before high school. Did you get any support during that time from, could you talk to anyone about it? Like, did you have friends or
Um,
family you could talk about it, or were you like left alone with that?
well, I mean, my sister was bisexual. My oldest sister was bisexual at the time, and she was already dating her now wife. But she understood what pansexual was, so we could kind of relate in that sense. Pansexual just basically means you are, well, it's also panromantic, but pansexual is like you're sexually attracted to people regardless of their gender identity. So,
Yes.
so
But
that's
you,
and
your sister helped you a lot then.
bisexual, yeah, bisexual is just like cis people and trans people. So my sister Rachel and I could understand each other. We could connect on that sense.
That's good. All right. Third myth. Letting trans people use a bathroom or locker room matching their gender identity is dangerous.
No, no. And the thing is, so like, how do you in the bathroom stall? Like, how do you know what someone's genital is? Are you gonna like creep under the door and like peep under the door and just like see someone's genitals? Like that's like that makes you creepy
Yes,
if
right?
you did that. So, just no. Like
The
it's not a
funny
problem.
thing is, all these myths are coming from people who are just afraid of something.
And they're ignorant. So,
Well, yeah, ignorance. Ignorance also is a big thing, but I think most of the time ignorance only exists because people are afraid of something, you know? All right, let's dig
yeah.
into the next one. Myth number 4: transitioning is as simple as one surgery.
No, like you got to go through the hoops and joops and bumps and bruises of getting all that, and then like you literally like if you're a trans woman, you lose your ability to have kids, and just like you have to go through the psychiatric evaluation, and just like it's not easy. Like they make you jump through so many hoops here to get hormones. And on
Is
top of
there
that, like changing your name and gender marker here is a pain in the ass. Even with when Obama changed everything on that at the federal level, Trump just undid all that. So
um is there like a sorry. Is there like a minimum age you can start with the hormone treatment? Because it,
No, if there's trans kids, there's literally like trans 9-year-olds, trans 6-year-olds. They might not be starting hormones, but what they have to do is take puberty blockers.
they,
There's kids in middle school transitioning, and like all they have to do is like take puberty blockers and then take their hormones. So
but for that they have to go to the doctor first and get their evaluation as well. They can't just take hormone
yeah,
blockers.
yeah, yeah. No, they have to do all the same stuff that I would do. They might have to do a psychobel because they're kids and maybe they think something, but like that's the thing. The psychobel is about finding out because kids are kids, but kids know what they want. Like for example, my daughter didn't say the name, but when she was in kindergarten, age 5, um, when she was in kindergarten, age 5, um, she said she likes girls and boys are gross. And then when she was in third grade, not age 9, she told me she was a lesbian. So kids know what they are. Kids understand things, and kids are a lot more aware of things nowadays because Gen Alpha, for example, my kids, people born between 2009 and 2028, they grow up in the age of the internet. Like they have Google and all these vast resources. So that's kind of a thing. Like trans kids know what they want, especially Gen Zs who are transitioning in middle school, high school. You know,
It's really interesting also
so
because what Squid Eye said, because it opened up this whole week, I was preparing this podcast now, like the last 2 weeks, and I had every time I watched something new, I talked to my husband about it, and we were discussing about like, what happens if one of our kids decide to be, wants to be trans, and it really, I really must say, it wasn't that easy for us to have a completely 100% open-minded discussion about that. It's not like I would not allow it or wouldn't support my kid, but it definitely is something where I had it's not easy for me just to know they would take hormones in an age like 7, 8, or 9. It doesn't feel right for me personally. It doesn't feel right. Not that I say I'm not supporting it. It's more it doesn't feel right. Like, are they really old enough to decide what they want on that age? And the only thing it doesn't feel right is because I don't know for sure. You know what I mean? I don't know for sure.
I, you know, from my experience, like how I said, my oldest child, sorry, my oldest daughter, but she's my oldest child. She identifies as a lesbian. Kids know what they want. Kids are very aware of things these days. So if your kid knows they're gender non-conforming, you know, I feel like, you know, they know what they want. So kids are very intelligent these days. I feel like they can make an educated decision for themselves. That's just me, but again, I mean, I haven't had to deal with that myself with my kids. I mean, like I keep saying, my daughter identifies as lesbian.
Would you do
So,
it? Or would you say to your own kid, like, wait till you're, I don't know, 15 or whatever? Or would you say, yeah, let's go?
um, well, I would ask them, how did you come to that decision? Because, because if they know what they want, they'll tell me. That's what I know about my kids. Like, if they know what they want, they'll tell me. Like, you know what I mean? If they know. Like, that's the thing I like about my kids is like, if they're sure about themselves, they'll tell me. So, or if I ask them, they'll tell me. So that's something that I have a benefit of, but not every parent does. But you also have to factor in, let's say, for example, like people like my 11-year-old's age, it's more likely than not that, Gen Xers birth that part of Gen Alpha, but like Gen Alphas are vast majority birthed by millennials. So,
Right.
and millennials are a lot more accepting. But for me, like if she said like my son Michael, he wanted to transition. He came as a woman to me. I'd ask him a few questions, and I would ask him, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Because this is a big undertaking. Because Like for example, that's Jazz. Like, do you know the My Name is Jazz? Like, do you have that show in Germany?
No.
Jasmine something. Okay, so basically, there's a show on our network here called TLC, the Learning Channel. That's what it stands for. They had a show for many, many years, and I think it's still running. It's called I Am Jazz, and her
Mm-hmm.
name's Jasmine, and she's been transitioning since she was a kid. Now she's in her early 20s now. And like for me, like I know that if you start hormones as a kid, like pre-puberty, there you can have like there you have to go through multiple steps if you're a trans woman to get like a vagina or something. But for me, like if I had my choice, I don't want my kids to deal with that when they can get the surgery. To deal with that, you have to go through whatever steps because taking hormones as a kid pre-puberty has its negatives. So I mean, if my son came as a woman, I would say, hey, you're gonna have to go through all these problems to get surgery when you're 18. Can you just
I mean,
hold it off? And
in the end, I mean, you're not the one who is deciding it anyways. I mean, you have to go to the doctor. The doctor
yeah,
is doing an
I know, but I
evaluation,
that's why I would talk.
right? Yeah,
Communication.
yeah.
I am big on communication.
I think my biggest
Um,
fears if I would say straight no or wouldn't even open up or wouldn't listening that the kid would do it kind of anyways and then I would lose the kid basically in the connection to the kid instead of being supportive and listen.
yeah, I support my kids. Like this summer when my daughter wanted to stop doing the summer hockey program, the summer hockey league. Because the thing is, here, like if you're on the summer hockey league here, my kids play. My oldest daughter plays hockey. Is you get invited by your friends. So usually, if the coach's kid, you're friends with the coach's kid on the team, you get invited to the summer league. She
Nice.
wanted to take a break from the summer league because she did it like the last 5 years. So, so communication is key. So basically, she said, "Hey, I want to start doing that."
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, I want my kids to be able to come to me with anything. That's what I want.
Yeah,
So, and
totally.
communicating that progress and coming to a decision is great, but it's their decision alone. So,
Makes sense. Makes sense. No, I just thought it's very interesting and open up a lot of it really opened up for me a new world. I never thought about it really.
yeah.
And my for example, my I have two sisters, two older
Mm,
sisters, and my older sister is gay, and and I mean, alone this process was for her such a pain when she was a kid, like to out herself. And the first time she told my mom was a disaster. And the first thing my mom said to her was, "Did I do something wrong?" And and this is the stuff, when I feel you need to think about it up front to not say something stupid like that. Even though I know my mom didn't mean it like that, it was the worst thing she could have said in that moment. And
yeah, wording. That's what I mean by communication. Like when you
right,
word things properly, cu- communication for me is overreaching. So, so it could be, saying the right thing, talking about it, because like I said, I want my kids to come up to me with anything. You know, if it, for example, let's just say random example. If my daughter got called up a C word by the kid up the street, I want my daughter to say that. You know, um, that's that's kind of a thing because I feel like my daughter would kind of like my daughter would be like, I don't want to talk about it, but maybe hurt my feelings. You know, so
oh, there are more questions, guys. You're bringing up so many nice questions here in the chat. Thank you so much, Squid Eye.
how
How
happy
happy?
have I been with my transition?
Exactly.
I've been
Since
really happy. I've been a lot. I feel like I'm a lot less in my shell than I was before. I'm a lot more outgoing. That's something I think is a problem because if I had my way, I'd be playing video games 10 hours a day and not working and living off my wife's paycheck and you know, and she pays off my credit cards. That's me if I was in my shell. now that I'm more outgoing, I feel more myself. I feel more free than just denying myself for all these years of my gender. Like it's enlightening. I go for every day I go for coffee. I wouldn't go for coffee every day. Even when I had nice credit and I had plenty of credit cards. So, and I could just piss away money on my credit cards. So, you know what I mean? So that's kind of that. So, I feel like it's really like broken me out of this, tight this plexiglass window I'm in, you know,
I
this
love that.
plexiglass bubble.
That's great. I'm happy for
So,
you. That sounds amazing.
yeah.
Another
Mm.
great question from Scott One here. Do you think that the upcoming generation will shake up the binary? Oh, it switched. Binary.
Heteronormative.
Yes, heteronormative system with the more and more rising visibility and achievements for LGBTQIA plus people, as well as that more and more younger people inform themselves and think about their gender and sexual identities. Maybe.
I think I'm seeing that with, the Gen Zs born in the 2000s, the Gen Alphas too. I think, a lot of people, like, it's true that Gen Z is the queerest generation out there, because, um, like the Gen Zs grew up with Tumblr. Tumblr was a great way to express your sexuality and all that. So, um, the for Gen Alpha, they've grown up with parents who birthed the vast majority of their generation. Um, Vast majority of their generation was birthed by millennials, and millennials were the first truly ginormous accepting generation out there. So and then once we get whatever comes after Gen Alpha, whatever comes after Gen Alpha, so that's going to be the thing. What's the generation after Gen Alpha is going to be called? Because right now, there's kids who are 5 years old who are Gen Alpha. We don't know about them just yet. So it'd be interesting to see going forward, what's going to be the um what's going to be the situation. It's going to be like another 5 to 10 years before we know. So
That's very interesting. Yeah, Jimmy said also like in Berlin here it's totally normal. Like I'm yeah, Berlin like a big city definitely is and especially in Germany, Berlin is very open. So I think Berlin
Well, for
is
me, like I notice
Berlin.
older people, for me in my area, older people are generally more racist, homophobic, transphobic, sexist, stuff like that. So that's kind of the thing. And, um so um but for me it's like, you know, um I live, where I live, it's a lot more accepting. But if, say, I went to Western Mass or the Berkshires or Central Mass, where it's a lot more Trumpies than out here. I mean, the most Trumpies I get is one section of Cohasset, here. So, I think it's lot less accepting out, like, where there's more conservatives in Massachusetts. Like, New York City is super accepting. Go to upstate New York, it's Trumpy Central. So it just depends on where you live.
Where you live, right? Also, like the US is super big compared to Germany, for example. And Europe in general, by the politics. Well, actually, that's not true. If you look now to Hungary, they are going backwards. Actually, especially when you look on, I think they actually reformed the transgender policies and now they're going backwards again, which is very sad. And this is also
Yeah,
something
Hungary
which is
Hungary is run by a dictator.
yeah, and this is also which is concerning for me. Like, how can they be in the the European, you know, states, but part of the European states, and being like that. It just doesn't make sense, and I think we should be more straight with that, you know? I mean, it's
Yeah.
either this or that, and it can't be about money all the time. By the way, we didn't finish the myth, and I just saw that actually, because of the questions you guys brought in here, two or three of these myths we don't need to dig into, because you actually had them in the questions. But let me ask you this: transgender inclusive healthcare is expensive. Is that a
I
myth
mean,
for
here in
you?
America, so I'll make the difference. So if you have universal health care, like Europe has universal health care generally, here in America we have privatized health care because, the oligarchs don't want to lose and they don't want Bernie to be president.
Right, right.
Uh, uh, but trans surgery, now the hormones are covered, your doctor's appointments are covered, your recovery is covered for the surgery. Your surgery is not covered. That's elective.
How much does it cost?
So, oh my God, my
Around
vagina. Well, my employer paid for all my surgeries, but I know the cost of it is a vagina's roughly $10,000. Facial
10,000.
feminization, facial
Okay.
feminization is generally eight to $15,000. My body feminization surgery was $6,000. But the good thing is, I work for a large corporation, and generally more liberal large corporations, they will cover trans surgeries for their employees or their
Oh,
spouses or kids.
that's cool. That's really
So, like
nice.
my company does that, Google does that, but not every Starbucks does too. So if you're a barista at Starbucks and you're trans, you can actually get your surgeries covered. Um,
Interesting.
Even if you're a low level barista. Um, uh, but yeah, so, but not every company does that. So, because, you know, the issues with the board of governors, but it's really expensive to get surgeries here because it's all out of pocket,
Hmm.
except for your recovery, which they kick you out in like a couple of days or a week. It depends on the surgery you get. And the private health insurance will pay for your hormones and they'll pay for your hormone doctor visits.
Hmm.
So, but what happened was when Bernie ran in 2016 and 2020, his Medicare for All plan or single payer healthcare, universal healthcare, he included trans surgeries in his bill. But like I said, the oligarchs don't want to lose. So,
All right. So let's get to another myth. Wait, children aren't old enough to know their gender identity. We had that already. Transgender people are mentally ill. That's a big one. Um, well, what do you say to that? Does anyone call you out for that?
that's complete BS. And the World Health Organization did remove being transgender from being a mental illness years ago. If the World Health Organization removed it, then I that's not true. So,
Berlin just said it. Berlin Jim said it. In Germany, you have to make steps over some years to get it paid, always accompanied by a psychologist. That was actually an interesting story. I heard an interview the last week here with somebody who came out last year, I think, and he was 50 and he almost killed himself, got saved, and then made the decision like he has enough, and then he made the transition and is now much happier. And he said like it took him so long because he actually went to a psychologist in the 90s, and the woman told him, because he told her about like his issues, he was putting woman clothes on, secretly, and didn't tell anyone. He was going to the streets by night so he could wear some shoes and live the life he wanted, but he didn't tell anyone. And then he of course, he tried to get some help, and the woman told him like if he would ever dress himself as a woman and come to her practice, he shouldn't show up anytime anymore in her practice. She wouldn't help him. And this is so, if you hear that, like from a professional standpoint, like this is just in the 90s. This is like, 20 years ago, but it feels like it feels like yesterday, if you know what I mean, you know? It's
Yeah.
it's so weird
Well,
if you hear these stories and I mean, I feel like we are still in the very beginning for this transition in society as well. But I'm glad to
yeah.
see it
Well,
it
I mean,
happens.
mental health care here where I live is very trans and LGBTQ plus inclusive. I can't say that for other places. Like here, conversion therapy is still legal in certain states. Um, so that's really sad because, and also like some states that have, anti-conversion therapy laws,
Right.
basically like your parents can turn over custody to your grandparents who live in Idaho and make you do conversion therapy. Like there's no like you can't take your kid out of state to make them do it bullshit. So, that's I think that needs to change. If we're going to have anti-conversion therapy, it's not just for minors, it needs to be for adults, and you can't take your kid out of state or change custody of your kids just to make them do it because you're a bigot. So we did a lot of states did the right thing and had anti-conversion therapy laws, but they need to go further. But unfortunately, our conservative slash corporate Democrats don't want to go further because they bow down to their oligarch owners because they get bribed by the oligarchs. So that's why we don't go further enough in this country. So
What do you think are the next steps to get rid of these um well, I mean, to develop our society into the more open-minded direction?
I think education, because like educating people, like that's what you got to do. You know, like I have uncles on my biological mom's side that, say the FA word and so many horrible words, but when we educated him like, hey, this is not okay, he did change. So you can change people. It might take a while, but you know, um, just educate people. It might not be immediate. You might not change them right away,
No, it's a
but eventually
generational
they will
thing.
come
You have
around.
to start with the young folks, and it's right.
Well, yeah, and that's why, a lot of people are like, oh, boomers, 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 little boomers, not like so calling someone a boomer. But like baby boomers are generally more racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, stuff like that. And boomers are also more conservative. So, um, just educating people. Like, for example, my Uncle Jack, before he passed away, he was a hardcore conservative. He was a far right-wing Republican. He would have voted for Trump if he was still alive in 2016. Um, but he was okay with gay people. And unfortunately, I he didn't live long enough for me to come out as a woman, but I think he would have been okay with it. So,
That's interesting. The contrast in your uncle, like,
yeah,
and I think this contrast is in every single one of us on in one point. You know,
yeah.
it's it's so interesting. Jim, what did you say? The time when the people are accompanied is made sure whether they really want this step and not suddenly change their mind about this step. What do you mean? This
I
time when
have no
people
idea.
are Yoda's talking here.
I have no idea what Jim's saying.
We will figure it out. Let me let us talk a little bit about gaming here. If you guys have
Sure.
any other question, or if you want to say anything about, of course, the transgender issue, please let me know. But I would really
I
like
think
to
we
know.
covered enough. I think we covered enough.
Well, there's never enough, I feel. Oh wait, he says best Podcast ever. Wow, thank you. Die Zeit, wo die Leute begleitet werden, wird sicher gegangen und diesen Schritt auch wirklich wollen. Ach so.
I need to translate that.
Yeah. Okay. He's talking about
Well, I
Okay.
could just pull Google Translate if I highlight his comment.
Well,
So,
it's basically the same he said above. I think he's talking about, yeah, he's really talking about the psychological, um, that people get accompanied basically over the time. You mean like
mhm.
by the psychologist, Jimmy? And then the costs. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just I think it's out of context. I don't get the context right now, but I think you just basically repeated
Yeah,
what we said before. Um,
yeah.
I want to know a little bit about your personal story. Where you met your wife in school? You met her very early, right? Did you met her in high school
So
or?
let's get things started. So number one, Arya is a year older in school than Rachel. So
Rachel
that
was
was
your
the thing.
sister, right?
So Rachel's my sister, Arya's my
Okay.
wife.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Rachel's born on Star Wars Day, 1989. And my wife is born in December of 87. So they're a year apart in school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I met my wife, my now wife, at Rachel and our family friend's oldest daughter. They were in the same, they went to school together, and um, they went to the same school together, and they were in the same grade, and they're only a couple months apart in age. So we decided to have like one big graduation party at the Campbells, Rachel and Elizabeth. So Aria thought I was my sister Colleen's age. She thought we were flipped. Colleen, like she thought that I was, like, so Colleen was born in 90. So she thought I was like she thought I was gonna be 17 in December versus I just finished eighth grade and I was going into high school the next year. So I was 14. So Trisha, which is Elizabeth's mom, and my sister Rachel pulled Arya aside and was like, "Hey, so and so, I'm not going to dead name myself. Um, they're starting high school in the fall. You can't do that." Like, but then Trisha was like, "You know what, Marianne, my biological mother, she's dying of cancer. We don't know how longer she has to live. She's not going to go for this, but as long as you don't fuck each other, you can date." Now, Arya is 5 years older than me, so she was going to be 20 in December,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going to be 15 like a couple weeks later in January. We so Arya made her move after my mom died, and I thought it was kind of a dick move at the time. But our first date was September 27th of 2007. Um, and we dated. We behind my dad's back, we had sex. So, but I used a spermicide condom, so I wouldn't get her pregnant. So, then I got Arya pregnant, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get kicked out of my dad's house. My dad's gonna kick me out." My girlfriend's only in college. She's
Yeah.
in college at the time. So my dad said something interesting. He's like, "When's this kid gonna be born?" I'm like, "February 2010." And he's like, "Would you have had kids after you graduated?" I was like, "Yes." So, he was okay, but he's like, "Okay, if that's the case, you and Ari have to get your own place before the end of the year when you graduate, which is 2011." So I was gonna get kicked out if Ari and I didn't get a place. Good thing Ari got a
You were
place.
16, 17?
So I got her pregnant when I was 16. I had
Yeah.
the kid when I was 17, or
Yeah.
she had the kid when I was 17.
Oh my goodness.
So
That's really young,
so
yeah.
yeah, and then essentially after I turned 18, I got her pregnant again, and we had our son Michael in October of 2011, and then we waited a while before we had kids, like 2.5 years,
And she was
and then we had our.
studying the whole time. She was still in college, right?
I was in high school, she was in college.
Wow.
Um, so um So she graduated from college, like her bachelor's degree or her undergrad, when I was like a sophomore, because she was a freshman in my eighth grade year. So she did college early, and then she did her master's while I was a junior and senior in high school. So when I was done with high school, she was already in the workforce. So that was the benefit there. And um, yeah, so we got our own place. We had two more kids, and I came as a woman. And
A
yeah,
lot is going on
so
in your life. Damn.
I know. And I got married at 20 too. I got married at 20. I was married on July 13th of 2013. Now, the sad thing was I got married, and 2 days later, Uncle Jack died. He was born in 1932, so he was 81 years old. So that ruined our honeymoon. So we had to get a flight back to Boston and go to his funeral, which we didn't care because we had two kids at the time. So someone was watching our kids. So
That's very interesting. We have a really big philosophical question here to dig in.
sure,
Let's see. You want to read it yourself? You know,
sure. Do you think if the Christians wouldn't have started pushing the binary system and excuse me, so incredibly much some thousand years ago, and society would have evolved without it, or in more Okay, so yeah, if Christianity was not such of a problem in Catholicism and the Eastern whatever the church is called for the East, and I think that would have been a problem. But also too, I'm gonna be blunt when I say this. I think if we didn't force people to wear clothes, no one would give a shit if you're naked because I'm a nudist. So that's I honestly, if those things weren't pushed back in the ancient times, that would have been a problem. I agree. So
it's definitely interesting. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking. This is something I need to drink for. This is a good question.
yeah,
I mean, if you really think back and you think back about like being gay was pretty normal, like times of the moments, you know. Um,
yeah, yeah.
it's
I
it's
I
it's
literally feel like I think the Dark Ages would not have happened if like certain things in the world didn't happen. We would have been had like flying cars. We would have been traveling to other planets, no problem by now if the Dark Ages didn't happen. So
yeah, we probably would have been quicker, right? But I mean, in the
yeah,
end, I mean, what you can see, like, I mean, my opinion, okay? In my opinion, what you can see right now, if you look like to the last years with Trump, for example, what happens? I don't feel we are ready yet. Like, even though technology is pretty advanced, um, we are not. Like, I mean, we are still having, the same discussions, issues we had some even like 50, 60 years ago, and they are coming back, they're repeating. And well,
yeah.
just think about AI, what's going on right now with AI. And I think there was something really interesting, like Elon Musk said, like the main problem with AI right now is that the scientists think they are smarter than the AI they are building, and they are not.
Oh yeah,
And then it's getting dangerous, right? And I feel like
yeah,
we are always as humans endanger ourselves, and I don't know. It's like it's also very interesting. I'm not saying everything is bad. I'm just saying I feel like development is, it can also always go further, and um,
yeah,
being, I mean, modern. What does that even mean? We never was.
yeah.
We never will. Yeah, we never were. Schmutzy.
Honestly, in my opinion,
Sorry.
if technology can get so good that you can cram something like an RTX 3070 mobile and like an 8-core 16-thread CPU into a tablet, I'd be really happy. Like the Steam Deck, I honestly, the fact that they put that hardware in the Steam Deck, but I'm like, dude, like try putting like a Max Q GPU in there and I'd be happy because I'm not the big on Radeon right now, so but yeah, do you want to switch to gaming right now?
Oh yeah,
Like you
let's
said?
switch to gaming. Let's switch to gaming. What's your gaming story? We want to hear your gaming story. Like, is there
Oh, oh.
When did you start? When did you start gaming? When did gaming came into your life?
So about 3, 4 years old, I played my. We got a used Super Nintendo from my sister had to share it with me.
Christmas.
Um,
That was the speech.
It
It
was
was dumb. It was obvious. It was pointless. It was short.
but
Yay! Thank you so
yeah,
much for the
I played
wait.
like
Welcome, Lotter. How you doing? I hope you have a great night. We are talking about trans gaming, trans gamers. Let's go, Alissa. I'm not breaking anymore. I'm not. Go, go.
but I played like Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World and Legend of Zelda, and I played those games on the SNES. But the thing was, so by the time I got my first gaming console, it was a Game Boy, and I got Pokemon Red. Now, I was 5 years old when that game came out, and my 5-year-old brain can only think Game Boy and Pokemon. so, um, so I, so yeah, and but the thing is, though, at the time, the most newest console we had was the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. And then my sister had all the add-ons for the Genesis. She had like the CD, the Mega Drive, stuff like that. And yeah, and then my first like brand new console was the Nintendo 64. So I grew up with Nintendo as a kid, which I think you should.
I wish I would have.
Um,
I always wanted
you know
one.
what's
I never got one. Oh, so sad.
Yeah. But and then we got the GameCube. Now this is when my dad made a lot more money and my mom did too, because we were poor in the 90s. And I got my first taste of a computer in 1997 when we bought our first PC running Windows 95. So,
What was the
and
first game you played on a PC? Just curious.
it was a Disney game. It was like a basic Disney game. I forget the name, but it was like something after the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So,
Because
I forget.
my first game was Robot, I think it was called. It was like a tabletop game. And the
Yeah.
most exciting thing you could do there was going on a toilet and flush the toilet. I don't know why I remember that now, but damn, that was funny. Yeah.
And
Anyways,
then
go ahead.
eventually we did get the PS2, we got the GameCube. Rachel got an Xbox, but then I got my first console to play shooters. So my first shooter at 11 years old was Halo 2. Halo
Oh, yeah.
2. Now, here's the thing. The next year, my sister Rachel got her first gaming computer. And she bought Battlefield 2. My mom bought her Battlefield 2. And I tried the bots. On Battlefield 2, and I just didn't get the concept of the game. I didn't get the game mechanics. I was 12 years old. I was pissed off. Fuck Battlefield, you know.
Yeah, it
And
was
now
not
I
easy to
regret
get in,
that.
right?
I know. Well, it was more hardcore back then, and I didn't get the concept. Like, I didn't get the concept of tap firing because I was so used to mag dumping in Halo to break someone's shields. So, like, mag dumping is not viable, at least in the old Battlefields, and even in BF3, BF4 too.
Right.
So, anyways, I got an Xbox 360 with my job money because back in 2007, a 14-year-old could bag groceries, and earn minimum wage. So, yeah, so I got the Xbox 360 Elite console, and then the rest of that time I just spent buying computer parts for my build. So eventually I would build my first computer, and then in September of 2008 I built my first computer, and that was a great experience. It's a really good skill to learn, and I unfortunately installed Windows Vista 64-bit Home Premium on there. One of the worst operating systems Microsoft has ever released, along with ME and 98 before 98 SE. 98 SE fixed a load of the problems 98 had. And And because what happened was I wanted more than 3 gigabytes RAM. I had 4 gigabytes RAM. I had two gigabyte DDR2 800 megahertz sticks. Eventually, I added the same kit again because DDR3 was out.
When was that?
That when
Which
I
year? I'm just thinking right now. Like
so my first computer was 2008, but DDR2 came out like in the mid 2000s.
2000, okay.
But DDR3 didn't come around until about 2009. So we're transitioning to DDR5 right now. We've been on DDR4 since 2015.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got my first computer. I got a GPU upgrade that Christmas, and one of the things I was annoyed about was the first Bad Company was a console exclusive. It was only on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. And that really annoyed me because I wanted to get Battlefield to try again. Now, the good thing is, a year and a half later, Bad Company 2 came out, so it worked out in the end. And that's when I got hooked on Battlefield. So, and now I have had my longest computer I had was my 2600K machine I built in 2011. That is a beast of a computer. Unfortunately, it's really showing its age these days.
Well, what is your
Squid.
favorite go-to-go game to play? Good to go? Go-to game. Favorite go-to game.
Right now, I like Splitgate. Splitgate. It used to be called Splitgate Arena Warfare, and now it's just called Splitgate. It's a take on Halo with a shorter TTK. With the quick TTK, and it has a portal mechanic. So you can confuse your enemies, or you could literally sneak up on the end of the team on their spawn if you shoot both portals in time. And it's really good mechanic. I like the portal mechanic. I only play casual. Because there's a ranked playlist, and I love Splitgate. The other thing, well, I mean, I play Uno on stream because did my cam freeze?
Yeah, no, for a second. I think you're back.
Yeah,
You're back.
yeah, it's on Wi. It's streaming over Wi-Fi on from my phone. So, but I play Uno on stream. I streamed like 2 weeks ago though, so not the best example. But I was supposed to be on hiatus. I was supposed to be on hiatus until the 2042 beta. And right now, like, I'm really nervous about 2042. There's been nothing from DICE and the Battlefield Twitter for a while. But
What are
I
you
know
nervous
this is
for? What are you nervous for?
a delay.
A delay of the game? You really expect the delay
Yeah.
of the game? Why? Because they're not
I don't know.
announcing
We haven't
anything
heard
about the beta?
we haven't heard anything, and the PS5 version of the game for the tech test had a fatal flaw. Now, I understand the tech test was like a build from March or April. So DICE, I think Adam Freeman even said that, or one of the people at DICE or the community manager said that. Um, and yeah, no, I am worried about a delay. Yeah, I agree, Squid. But yeah, no, I'm just worried. But I know the beta is in the database for Xbox and PlayStation right now. Like it just got uploaded like today and yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, it's still Sunday in Europe.
Yeah, it's still
I
Sunday.
was like, whether 6 hour time difference. But yeah, no. What's it called? But yeah, I'm just worried about a delay. But other than that, I'm excited. I want to get back into Battlefield. You know what? It's a somewhat modern setting. It is near future. They seem to be returning to a BF5, well, the majority of BF5's gunplay, not the changes they try to make to it. And they seem to be just back on track. Now, there's a weird thing I've had. It's this weird luck situation I've had. Is ever since I pre-ordered BF4, every game that released in an odd year has either started out bad but ended up great, or has been amazing, and rarely does an even year game do well for me. Like, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, I bought for the zombies mode because I like Call of Duty Zombies. And the first two zombies maps, right, base game plus Raid in the Redwoods, then DLC fell off. BO4, it was good on launch for zombies. Like the custom games was really good, and unfortunately, it was very microtransaction heavy. But like BF4 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017 was a game that started out bad that I pre-ordered, by the way. So this is pre-orders, games I pre-order that started out bad, but it turned out great. Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, was a great game for me from launch until the end, until it was stopped being supported. But like Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, I couldn't get into it. Like to me, I know I'm very opinionated and controversial when I say this, but BF1 is the worst Battlefield game of all time, and BFB is the second. But BFB did try, at least during the reveal, try to fix a lot of the problems that people hate about BF1. So that it was a step in the right direction for
But I
BFB.
mean, because you said all of that right now, I'm thinking like if they would bring, because you said in the first place you're afraid they will bring a delay, right? They will have a delay. And I'm thinking like if they would have a delay, and I think Squid Eye said that as well, like um, I rather have like a good launch of the game, I have a little bit of a delay and not a disaster like Battlefield 5.
Yeah, I know, and that's the
Agree?
same thing. That's the thing I also feel about Halo. Halo
Mm,
is going to be an incomplete game at launch, Halo
yeah.
Infinite. So I would have rather Halo Infinite come out next year, and even then, I feel like the next gen console, the current gen now, should have come out in 2022.
Right.
Personally,
Uh,
I think they could have waited a couple years. So, um,
well, yeah. I mean, in the end, if it's a good game, it's enough recommendation for people to buy it if it's a good game. I don't
yeah.
so yeah, waiting a little bit
But for
longer doesn't
me,
hurt.
like, I guess I would like a complete 2042. But the problem is though, like earlier this year, like EA was like, we're ahead of our schedule, deadlines and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like, is that still true? But anyways, what I was trying to say earlier, but I lost my train of thought, was Tom Henderson said we should be hearing something about Battlefield 2042 between the 31st of August and the 2nd of October, so Tuesday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, the rumored beta dates are the 4th of September through the 11th.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Delay equal happy staff at the studios involved in the game and support. I work with devs, PR, marketing, etc. Squidder, you work with devs, PR, marketing, etc. What? I'm confused.
yeah.
Do you wish for the characters that they bring gay or trans characters like in Rainbow Six Siege and Battlefield 2042?
If it's a side feature, I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit. So if that happens, cool. If it doesn't, whatever.
It doesn't matter for you.
Um,
Do you think it would be? I mean, for you, okay, for you
it'd be a
personally,
cool
it doesn't
feature.
matter. Do you think we should have these characters more implemented to change maybe some mindsets within the gaming society?
See,
Do you think that
I'm
would
gonna
change
say this.
something? Yeah, please go.
I will say this. It depends on two things. One, we're gonna get specialists in the battle pass. One, like each battle pass is gonna add like a one or two specialists.
Yes.
I think at launch they don't want to have the same problem that people had with Battlefield 5. A lot of people complained it was unauthentic. People, the historical accuracy nerds were going nuts. I think at launch they want to keep it realistic, like an actual soldier that would be on the battlefield. But I think once we get new battle passes, sure we'll get a lesbian or gay or bisexual or transgender, almost an operator, um, specialist, um, specialist. So I think that'll be part of the battle pass. Now the thing is though too is are they gonna sell? Because Call of Duty's doing this, they're making hand over fist in money in this, so EA will probably want a piece of that pie too. Is will they sell specialist bundles? Will they sell specialists as a paid bundle in the shop. Because that's what my thing is. We don't know that. They're saying they're going to add it via the battle pass, but you know, we know because Call of Duty is very successful at it. They're going to have tracer round packs. They're going to have specialist bundles. You know, they got to sell shit in the shop, so they can't just sell the battle pass. And a lot of people probably bought the gold or ultimate edition, and they get they get a year's worth of battle passes included with their version of a game. Um, so, um, so it just like I said, it's either going to be like they'll add it later on, they'll just going to keep everything accurate at launch, and then add it later, or maybe it might be a paid bundle in the shop because, like I said, Call of Duty is like doing that, and EA is going to want to do it too.
Right, right. I mean, in the end, it's also about making money.
Yeah.
Um,
But
I
but
yeah.
other than that, I'm excited for 2042. I mean, this seems to be like the ultimate Battlefield, in my opinion. There's Portal, if you just need a chill match after play, because the thing is, so there's a rumor going around right now, but there might not be a server browser. Like you
Yes.
might have matchmaking only, and like, are they gonna force SBMM on us? Because that's the thing I like about the server browser
Mm-hmm.
is in older battlefields when they had some level of SBMM in quick play, the server browser didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So are we getting skill based matchmaking? Because the thing is, so Stod said this like last year. How do you determine soldier skill versus vehicle skill?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make that algorithm work? So
Also, how do you
and
squad up with your friends? If you, I mean, can you only squad up with your friends then on Portal, or not on their regular dice servers, or how does it work? Like,
yeah,
um,
because I think Portal is going to have its own browser. It's like
yes,
Halo 5.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know, but you said like quick search only, quick join, like
But no, but I'm saying for standard
matchmaking.
multiplayer.
Yes,
Standard
exactly.
multiplayer is going to have quick play, but Portal will have like a little browser where you can join Portal servers.
I know.
I think that's why they don't have RSP on launch because there's going to be matchmaking only.
Yeah, which is honestly the main concern for me right now. I hope they really bring a spectator mode. Like
Oh yeah.
I can't believe, to be honest, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not even concerned about it because I really can't believe they won't bring any type of spectator mode because that would be, it doesn't make sense to everything what they did so far. Like how they increased the work with content creators up front, the marketing, the PR. It's all about content creation. It's all about involving the community, and it
Well,
just it doesn't make sense for me to believe they won't bring a spectator mode. It doesn't make sense for me.
well,
So,
something I would want is someone who's going to stream this beta. I want a streamer mode. I want a streamer mode. Like I want to be able to not have people stream snipe me. No, I get it. I get like 2 to 3
yes,
viewers,
I
and
think
mostly
that
it's
many
auto
people are
host.
looking for that. Yeah,
Because the
definitely.
thing is, so right now and forever in Battlefield, it's too easy to stream snipe someone.
Yes.
So like we need a streamer mode, hands down.
Anything else you think you would like to see? What you don't know about right now, or would you like to see?
I want to know how MTX heavy 2042 is going to be. Like, are they really? Because the thing is, right now with Call of Duty, is sure you can unlock you have a free tier of the battle pass, but Cold War basically goats you into buying bundles in the shop. I I I I want to be able to at least buy vast majority of things in the shop with grind currency. Like, is this going to be like a Boyne or whatever premium currency they have heavy game?
I just saw the
Um,
bee on your hat. You said Boyne. I don't know. It made me laugh.
oh,
Ah,
this is a Bruins logo, so.
I never saw it before.
But yeah, no. I want to know how microtransaction heavy this game is going to be. Because is there going to be tier skips? Because that's what Call of Duty does. They do tier skips to the battle pass. So
Dwarf King just said we need more stream revivers and less stream snipers. I like that. That is a good. I need to save that. We need to make something with that sentence. That is great.
you could just program it with a bot command, like, quotes, quote one,
Quotes. Quote one. Yeah, actually, I think we had that once. Let me see if there's still a quote in here. We had quotes. There's no quote. Where are
Hmm.
quotes? I need to activate them again, I think. Because we had like 3 or 4 quotes in here, and I like that. We need more stream revivers, less stream snipers. That's a good one. We have to use
Yeah.
that. Dwarf King. Um, stream sanitators. Yeah. Yeah, but that's true. That's true. I mean, this is also that's also a good example for ignorance, right? I mean, and I think the main issue with stream sniping is that the people who are doing that really don't know what they do in that second. They don't know how it affects a
They want a
streamer.
reaction. That's the thing. They want you to rage on stream.
Whatever they
That's the
want, but
thing.
the thing is that they really don't know how this affects the mental health of a streamer. Like this can
Yeah.
people this really is stressful for a streamer because if they don't
Yeah.
react, even if they don't react, if they don't show a reaction,
Their
inside,
facial expression might show it though. That might be another
yes,
thing
of
too. They
course,
might not be verbally saying it,
of
but their
course,
facial expression could be saying it.
but biological, it does something to your body and it's stress. And it's
Yeah.
and it's just stupid. In the end, you're hurting a person, and
Yeah.
um, and this is pretty ignorant to do so. Um,
Yeah.
let's go to something else. So you love seeing Battlefield. You're a gamer for years. You're playing on PC.
Since
Uh,
'08, yeah.
you're streaming as well. I think the last game you streamed was Uno, right?
Yes, Uno, that was 2 weeks ago. I'm such a hit or miss streamer, but like I said, I was gonna go on hiatus until beta. So
What's the
what's the
best?
best EA game I have played?
Exactly.
BF3. BF3.
Battlefield 3.
BF3 is the best EA game I ever played. A close 1A is Titanfall 2.
Same. Damn,
It's
I
a, it's
played.
a newer it's the newer ones, but like the only games I cared about from EA was like NHL back in the day, or so like the Harry Potter games when they're on Harry Potter games when they're EA games.
Right. What was your favorite map on Battlefield 3?
Peak,
Diamond
Peak
Peak.
or Metro, Devon Peak or Operation Metro. I did like Grand
Sure.
Bazaar.
Oh, Grand Bazaar
Yeah.
was also nice.
Oh, I don't like racing games. Yeah.
Need for
Oh
Speed and
yeah,
Grand Theft.
Berlin Gym. I was tweeting that when they announced NHL 22, it needs to be on PC because they have Madden on PC, they got FIFA on PC, the skate game's gonna be on PC, but no NHL and no NBA Live. So I don't like the NBA, but NHL needs to be on PC.
Nice.
But I think this year was about getting the game on the Frostbite engine because they 2008 actually, Jim. Um Uh, but the thing is, I think this year was about switching the engine to Frostbite. So I think next year, because enough people will piss and moan, they'll have it on Switch and PC.
What's your favorite Mario character? How did you came up with that now? Give me.
Uh, I don't know, Luigi. I think he's super underrated.
He's super
Luigi's Mansion
underrated.
was a great game.
He's super underrated. It's funny. I watched even a video like in my research, and it was a video about transgender characters in gaming.
Oh my,
And it was so funny. It was like because the first games that came out like in the what was it, 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, the first machines you could game on, stuff like that.
yeah, like
And
Atari and all that.
yeah, exactly. And the first characters were all male. And I can't remember the
Yeah,
name, but there was a game, the first very female character. It was also a boy, but in the end of the game, when you were in the final round, the character
yeah.
switched to a female character. And there was the first very female character, and I thought this is so fun. This is hilarious. And this was like in their, I think in the 80s or something. Did you
Yeah.
did you did you ever think like you as a gamer, um did you have any other experience because you're trans as a person? Like did you get any, negative attitudes from people when you're in the voice chat, or did you have to have any discussions,
Well,
or are your views different maybe even on games?
basically, since BF4, I've just been turning off voice chat. I mean, even before I transitioned, it was a cesspool. I mean, if you think like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, lobbies on Xbox 360 were bad. Um, by the time Battlefield 4 came out, it was just a cesspool. Text chat's a cesspool because that's what I'm worried about in on 2042 with crossplay with PC. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 was awful. Um, Trust me, I was the instigator on Modern Warfare 2.
But
Um,
they said on Battlefield 2042 for PC they will have a program for the text chat, I think, against
yeah.
toxicity, right?
Yeah, but like the thing is though, I don't want console players to see what PC gamers are saying. Because people like some people might get affected by that. And some of the
I'm not
horrible
su-
things there's
I'm not sure if you can even see that. I mean, we don't know yet because normally
you might
on
be able to see you
console
might be able to see it, but you can't interact
you
with it.
can't
Like on Call
interact.
of Duty, you can't interact with text chat on console,
Maybe you can
but you
turn
can
it
turn it
off,
off as well.
right? I think I turned it off actually. I never saw it.
Modern Warfare I turn off because I mean I'm not that good, so I don't get many accusation stuff. But for me, like I want options. Like, can I like disable my input into chat, but can I still see it?
Right.
Because you're like, I have one of the best mice in the world, and I feel like the only way I would get a accusation is like because I have one of the best game mice in the world.
Yeah.
So that's not lightweight. So, um, just that's kind of my thing, and you know, um like I want to be able to not be able to type into it, but I want to be able to show inactive because that's the setting I usually have is show inactive. But I like turn off all the keys for typing in the text chat. So
But did you have to deal with any harassment or
no, I turn
directly?
all that stuff off. I turn all that stuff off,
So you
or I ignore it. Like
mhm.
chat, I just said to talk. I said to show inactive, and unfortunately, some people are very toxic in there, and I do a good job of reporting them. So,
So you don't even
like,
let them give them a chance, basically. Oh, that's not.
yeah, I don't care. I have enough friends that I squat up with. I can
Yeah,
just be in a Discord call, or
that's nice.
one of my two Discord servers. So,
Nice. What about streaming? When you're streaming, I think you don't stream with cam, right? Do you stream with cam?
well, I didn't have a cam for a while,
Yeah.
so,
So there's
but
not a.
uh, but yeah, I'll probably do that now. But the thing I will say is that I haven't got any transphobic people in my stream, which you know, is weird because I think it's because I'm so small. These, bullies or trolls or whatever they are, they don't want to bully me because they know I'm just gonna ban them right away. Versus someone, who's, 1,000 times my size, who's got 100 viewers is gonna get a bigger reaction. That's the thing with these trolls. They usually don't attack small streamers because they don't get a big enough reaction. So they want the reaction. They want the publicity.
All right, all right.
So for me who's someone that gets 1 to 3 viewers on average, or usually I average about two, but I get anywhere from 1 to 3 viewers. That doesn't care them. They don't care about trolling me. So
That's a good thing. But I feel you're also doing a good job in um, placing yourself, with the right people and in the right situations, so you don't even get the confrontation, right?
yeah. Yeah, Call of Duty especially. Call of Duty just it's so toxic in there. So
True.
I
That's why I
I just
deinstalled it.
oh yeah, I uninstalled Call of Duty. I only stopped playing Call of Duty because Modern Warfare was overrun by cheaters and Infinity Ward will ban them.
Yes.
Like, and I play on PC, so I have to turn crossplay on. So
True. 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 Guys, I'm just warning you up front. We are about to reach the end here. So in case you have any left questions for Alyssa here, please let us know in the chat. And Alyssa, for
any
you.
computer questions would be great.
Yes. Oh yeah, please. Well, actually, I have a computer question for you.
Sure.
Mm, and it's a really general question. And you don't need to give
Sure.
me the exact specs now. But what I get asked a lot, and I'm always like wondering, why do you people ask me that? I don't even have a computer. Um, like I don't have a computer, you know, I have an iMac. That's not a computer. It's yeah, I always
But
say it,
anyways,
that's not a
continue.
computer. So I'm always gonna ask, like, if I want to start streaming, exactly what are the best specs? What is the best PC? What do I have to look
Well,
for?
what do
What
you
do I
mean? Do you
start
just want to?
with? Like,
Okay, so my question is, do you want to just have it as a streaming computer, or do you want to play games on it?
streaming and games usually. Content creators, I usually get this question from content creators who are starting out. Like,
Okay, if you're,
I wanna get my first streaming, playing PC, whatever. But I don't think they.
so if you,
Go ahead.
yeah, if you want to get your first computer, you want to stream but also play games on. You want to go with the NZXT H510, white or black. It's your choice. Um, you want to go with the MSI B550 Tomahawk. And you want to go with the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. You want to go with a 16 gig kit at 3600 megahertz. It's a 2 by 8 gig stick kit. You can choose your cast latency. Generally, I just say fuck it and go for cast latency 14 RAM, but cast latency 16 is fine. Cast latency 18 if you really want to cheap out on RAM, but generally you want the G-Skill Ripjaws 5 kit. And then cooler wise, um, Thermal Grizzly crying out thermal paste would be good. The Be Quiet Pure Rock 2, Be Quiet's a German brand. Be Quiet Pure Rock 2 and black because aesthetically that's good. You want to go with well, whatever brand you want to go with, but generally EVGA sticks to MSRP or close to MSRP. Is the RTX 3060 Ti. You want to go with a 650 to 760 watt power supply, anywhere for that range, and you want it to be 80 plus bronze rated or 80 plus gold rated. You want to go with a 1 or 2 terabyte SSD, 1 or 2 terabyte SSD, and yeah, and then
RTX is a nightmare in Europe. That's true. I think we need to write this
yeah,
down, Alyssa. Let's write this. I will try to. I mean, we are recording and uploading it on YouTube anyways. But this part, um, this is something which actually content creators would really help. Are you on our Discord, Alyssa? On the GWC Discord?
oh,
Okay, let,
I didn't find the link for it, so
Oh, really? It should be. It should be on our Twitter page actually, guys. Also for you, if you're not in our Discord yet, you can find our Discord link always on our Twitter page. I should post it more often. I know everyone is welcome. We have a special section also there for content creators who are asking these kinds of questions. Of course, join the Discord. We always can. You know, we are there to support each other. This is what we are doing here on Gamers Who Care. It's not, you know, we are really doing this here to open up, you know, deep conversations, to get out content, to help each other, to listen. And if you're interested, just jump in there. And everyone is
yeah.
welcome, really.
Well, your personal server, I was in your personal server.
I kicked it. I deleted it. My personal.
I know.
Because I deleted it because like I said, like I'm not streaming personally really, and it felt like a waste of time. And I thought, like, you know, the GWC server is enough, and this is this is where my heart is here for GWC, and I think
Yeah.
we are doing amazing stuff here. And I mean, I have two kids myself, two kids. I feel bad now. You have four, but I'm already overwhelmed with my two kids, to be honest. So I try to get everything under one plate and be fair for everyone. So that's why I deleted my own server. Try to focus more on GWC. Um,
Yeah.
you have one kid, me, yeah. This is, uh, then I should have said I have three kids. Squid I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. No, but that's great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Alissa. Is there anything you think you said we should talk more about PC in general? I'm so sorry. I'm really just I'm not the right
Well,
person
when
there.
you get some funds, you can message me on Discord or Twitter. So
Yeah, but maybe we should. You know what? Maybe we should make for the community like like different funds what people can invest, and then make some specs for that, and then we can post it.
yeah.
That's actually a good idea, I think.
Well, generally here in the U.S., you want to spend about $1,200 to $1,500. So
Okay, that's a good amount
that's a
to
good,
know,
that's a pretty good PC, but that's before Windows because you got to pay for Windows
right?
and before peripherals and monitor and all that. So
1200 to 1400, and then you can stream endgame. It's
yes,
it's
yes.
both. Okay, because that's important as well, right? Well, that's interesting. Don't have to pay for Windows.
That's good. You don't have to pay for Windows. You can pirate it. You can pirate it.
Damn. Now I get banned because of you.
Or you can just have unactivated Windows and
Right?
not get any security patches.
Damn it. Alyssa, I hope you enjoyed this podcast with me. I hope you had some fun
It's
too.
been a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much, really. Thank you so much for opening up here for all of us, for putting some light into the whole topic. And if you want, of course, you're always, 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 always welcome to join us back here. It was really a
Just
pleasure
message
meeting
me
you
when you're
tonight.
available.
Definitely, definitely. We'll do that. Also, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight here. Um, I would say let's share the love with somebody. Alyssa, do you have any suggestion? Do you see who's online right now? Do we want to share
The
the
only
love?
person on my follows list that is online is your big brother, Steve.
Your big brother Steve. Let's take a look. Need to open up my Twitch quick. Good night. Yeah, good night, Bloody. And thank you for stopping by. So nice, man. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Steve is still there. He has a long stream again, probably tonight.
Yeah. You have any smaller streamers that you follow? They're alive?
I actually can't see it right now because, I told you about when I have my Streamlabs open and then I open my browser. It's so slow.
Yeah.
So I need to fix something, I think, with that. So I can't see it right now, really, who's on. I will wait now to Steve. That's fine. And I like you guys choosing it, actually.
Yeah.
Wait. All right. Did I forget anything? Yeah, put the link out there. Thank you so much. Put Alyssa's link out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's perfect. Guys, in case you didn't follow her yet, please take a look at her stream. Give her a follow. Also on Twitter, you can find her under, Curvy Mermaid 617. It's the same. Maybe let me put the link in the chat here quick again before I put the wait link in there. Now I copy. Right. It doesn't matter. Twitter.com. So I think this is your Twitter link, right, Alyssa?
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Also, if you have any questions left and we didn't talk about it tonight in our stream, just send her a message. She's open to talk about it. I'm pretty sure, right, Alyssa? Just say yes. Say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful night. Thank you all for being here. And let's wait. Let's wait to your big brother Steve. Share the love with each other. Maybe say hello a little bit to him. And yeah, thank you so much. You're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, that hurts. I shouldn't have done. I forgot my hand is broken.